Let's see if I can scroll down to the next question. Okay, so the Federal Reserve recently shifted its monetary policy, causing LASIK Vision's weighted average cost of capital to change. LASIK had recently analyzed the project whose cash flows are shown below. However, the CFO wants to reconsider this and all other proposed projects in view of the Fed action. So how much did the changed weighted average cost of capital cause the forecasted net present value to change? So we have an old weighted average cost of capital and then a new weighted average cost of capital. So the first thing that I need to get is the old NPV. And so if I go over to the register or the calculator and I go to the cash flow register and I hit second clear work, clear out all the previous numbers, I'll just enter my cash flows, and the good thing is I only have to enter this once. So 1,000 negative, and I'll hit enter and go down. Cash flow 1 is 500. Enter, go down to cash flow 2, it's 520. Hit enter, now go down to cash flow 3 and it's 540, and I'll hit enter. Then I go to NPV and I put the old weighted average cost of capital, which was 10%, and hit enter. And go down and hit compute. And so that one is 290 point, let's see if they were really particular with the decimal places here. Yeah, I think they were 0.01, so with 1 cent. And then I need to find the NPV with the new weighted average cost of capital. So all I have to do here is scroll up to the I and change it to 8 for that new one. So I hit 8 and enter. I hit down, and to make that number reflect the 8%, I hit compute. And so I get the new one is 300, new NPV is $337.45. And then the question asks for the change. Well, the difference between these two is that it increased by, if we subtract the two numbers, it increased by $47.44. So it's like an improvement. And usually when the weighted average cost of capital goes down, the NPV will go up. So we calculated two NPVs and just calculated the change. And let's look at the next one. So the next one's not a calculation, but we'll just talk through it. So which of the following statements is correct? A, projects with normal cash flows can have only one real IRR. Well, that statement is actually true. That is correct. So let's look at why the other ones aren't correct. So B says projects with normal cash flows can have two or more real IRRs. Well, remember that normal cash flows means that there's only one change in sign. And so if there's just one change in sign, there's just one IRR. So it's not B. And then C, projects with normal cash flows must have two changes in the sign of the cash flows. So we just said it could only have one change in sign, so that's not the answer. And then D, the multiple IRR problem can arise if a project's cash flows are normal. And that's not the situation. It only arises when the cash flows are non-normal. And then E, projects with non-normal cash flows are almost never encountered in the real world. Well, that's not true, because there are several types of projects that have a negative cost to begin and a negative cost at the very end, so that they do the cleanup, of the project, and ends up being a negative cash flow. So A is the correct answer for 5. Sorry about that. It's very very sensitive when I hit this scroll button. Okay, question 6. Two mutually exclusive projects have the following projected cash flows. So that means we can only choose one since they're mutually exclusive. So we have project A and project B. And then if the required rate of return on these projects is 10%, then which one should be chosen and why? So if you look at some of the answers, it says NPV because of NPV or because of IRR. We can automatically eliminate anything that says IRR because NPV is our only method that we use to find out or make a decision about which project should be chosen. So if I go to the cash flows, I need to enter in my cash flows for project A, and so I'll get, oops, that's not what I meant to do. I'll get the NPV for A and then compare it to the NPV for B. So the cash flows, I hit second, clear work, and I enter in these cash flows, 50,000 negative, and I hit enter. And cash flow 1 is, okay, that's kind of nice. So it's 15,625 and enter. And actually, it never changes. If you look over here, all of these cash flows are the same, and it happens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So if I go down, this is the one time where I want to take advantage of the frequency, and I'm just going to hit 5 and enter so I can be done more quickly. So if it happened 5 times, that's a frequency of 5. And then I go to the NPV, and the weighted average cost of capital, like they said over here, was 10%. So I'll put 10 and enter, hit down and hit compute. So I get the NPV for A is $9,231.04. So it is positive, it's not negative. And then we'll look at the cash flows for project B. So let me go back to the cash flow register, and I'll hit second, clear work, and for cash flow 0, I'll enter 50,000 negative again. And then all the cash flows are 0 except for 5, so I'm just going to keep going down. Okay, yeah, I'm going to keep going down and okay, so I have to actually enter the zeros. So cash flow 1 is 0, hit enter. Cash flow 2 is 0, and I'll hit enter. Cash flow 3 is 0, and I'll hit enter. Cash flow 4 is 0, and I'll hit enter. And then cash flow 5 is $99,500, and I'll hit enter. Then I'll go to the NPV, enter in the 10% weighted average cost of capital, hit the down arrow, and hit compute. And I see that the NPV for B is $11,781.67. So obviously I want project B because it's a higher number, a larger positive net present value. And so I would choose answer A. And so let's look at the last practice question. Okay, an insurance firm agrees to pay you $3,310 at the end of 20 years if you pay premiums of $100 per year at the end of each year for 20 years. Find the internal rate of return to the nearest whole percentage point. So we want to find the IRR, and so we can enter this into the cash flow register the way that this is. You could also do the time value of money keys, but let's go ahead and do the cash flow register. So if I go over and hit the cash flow register, I hit second, clear work, and I'm going to pay negative $100 every year. So, and it's at the end of 20 years. So cash flow 0 is going to be 0. Cash flow 1 through cash flow 19 will be negative 100, and then cash flow 20 will be $3,310, and then I'll get the IRR. So cash flow 0 is 0. I hit enter, go down to cash flow 1. So it's 100 negative. I'll hit enter and go down. And since this happens for 19 times, I'm going to go ahead and use the frequency here. Hit 19 and enter and go down. And so the next cash flow is going to be cash flow 20, even though it says cash flow 2. Okay, so cash flow 20 is 3,310. And I'll hit enter. And then I just go to IRR and hit compute. And so the nearest whole percentage point is the IRR of 5%. So that's answer C. So we just rounded down for that one. So those were just some practice problems for chapter 11.